Okay, next cologne. So, this is going to be a cologne that I'm sure none of you have heard of before. Probably had no idea it even existed. And it's been flying under the radar for so long. It's Bleu de Chanel. And if you didn't notice, I was being 100% sarcastic because I think everybody knows of this cologne. But it has a really interesting history that I'm kind of excited to share with you all. Bleu de Chanel. No clone here. This is the OG. There have been different colognes that have tried to clone this, copy this. I have not found one that has gotten just super, super close. And so, honestly, it's got to get yourself a bottle. And if you found one that works for you, that's a really good clone, leave it in the comments below because I want to know about it. I want to buy it. I want to test it. So, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you know when the next video is up. Let's get into it. Bleu de Chanel. As you can imagine, this is a blue fragrance. I'm stuck already. Also, I got my pineapples on if you can't tell. Because this is a fun, fruity, kind of tropical scent. I'm sorry, y'all, that was a little anticlimactic. Not a lot of bubble wrap noises. You know what? I got another one here. Hold on. There we go. Double duty. That was probably the time when non-ASMR people probably said, "What is this?" and clicked away. Bleu de Chanel. Eau de Parfum. When it comes to simplicity, it doesn't get simpler than that. There's some black here. You can tell. It's the batch number, made in France, and the ingredients. You get a little bit of that. What's my batch number? 8855. That's an easy one. Cool. Let's see if there's more magic inside. This is the scary part. I'm really excited to talk to y'all about this. Such a cool history of this cologne. Oh no. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh, okay. No stunning review. this is part of those colognes that they call the blues. And every guy, in my opinion, every woman, I mean everybody who likes fragrances, who wears fragrances, needs a good blue cologne. And honestly, there's so many. The first cologne I ever wore was called Bleu Seduction. It has a great name. It's by Antonio Banderas. But if you've had limited experience with colognes, Davidoff, Cool Water, I mean, your first experience with colognes was probably a blue. Very common. There's a lot of them. So, let's get into the history real quick. I say real quick. Bleu de Chanel, not an old cologne for as much success as it's had. It came out in 2010, and that was the Étoile version. In 2014, they released the Eau Parfum, and in 2018, they released the Parfum. Now, what's kind of cool about this is the designer, his name was Jacques Polk. I don't know how he pronounces it, and he only had 74 fragrances, but he's considered a perfume master because of this creation. He created the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, and in 2015, Jacques retired, and the Parfum was made by Olivier Polke, and that's Jacques' son. So, father made the EDT and the EDP, and then he retired, and then his son Olivier came along and made the Parfum. I just think that that's so cool. I just think that that's so cool to leave a legacy and to father-son it. That's just awesome. People really like this cologne. It's 4.16 out of 5, 16,000 votes. People like the versatility and the high quality, but they don't like the fact that it's expensive. This right here, $160. And the EDT version's not much cheaper. And Chanel has a very restrictive way of distributing. Now, what's weird about this cologne is the notes from EDT to EDP to Parfum are so different. And this is what's frustrating to me, I think, because you go to a fragrance store, not every version of the cologne is there. You might have Acqua di Gio, you might have Sauvage, but rarely. Oh, and Y Men. Y was one there. Yves Saint Laurent. But you rarely have the EDT, the EDP, and the Parfum to test. Very rarely. And so if you want to blind buy the Parfum and you think that you would like it because you like the Eau de Parfum or the Eau de Toilette, you get the Parfum and it's so different. I get so frustrated with that. Let me read you some of these notes. So the top notes for the Eau de Toilette: grapefruit, lemon, mint, and pink pepper. The top notes for the Eau de Parfum: grapefruit, lemon, mint, pink pepper, bergamot, aldehydes, and coriander. That's totally different. And I will say, I'll talk about this when I spray it. I hate the top notes of this thing. I heard nothing but Bleu de Chanel, Bleu de Chanel, Bleu de Chanel. I had such honestly, I hated it. And when it dried, it became the most amazing cologne that I've ever smelled in my life. I'm not kidding you. I think it was a mixture of the coriander and the pink pepper that I didn't like. It's just so not needed. If you thought that was bad, the Parfum version, lemon zest, which is totally different. Bergamot, mint, and artemisia. What? Étoile. The middle notes: ginger, nutmeg, jasmine, and ISO-E super. Middle notes for the Eau de Parfum: ginger, nutmeg, jasmine, and melon. Pretty similar. Middle notes for the Parfum: lavender, pineapple, geranium, and green notes. Again, it's totally different. Base notes for the EDT: incense, vetiver, cedar, sandalwood, patchouli, labdanum, and white musk. Again, if you're looking for a simple cologne, this isn't it. There's so much going on. Base notes with the EDP: incense, amber, cedar, sandalwood, patchouli, amberwood, and labdanum. So, somewhat similar. And then the Parfum goes ahead and does something totally different with sandalwood, cedar, amberwood. Brings in the ISO-E super and tonka bean. So this really is one of these colognes. And again, if you find a clone of this, let me know. And also a clone of what version, because they're so different. This really is one of those that, if you can sample all three to make up your mind and find out which one you like best, do it. Because they're just so different. The same thing is a little bit with Y by Yves Saint Laurent, but it's not nearly as bad. This, very, very different. Let's put it on some paper. I kid you not. I'm very biased towards this one. On my grading scale, I'm very biased towards it. This is one of the best fragrances, I think, on the market. But right when I spray it, don't be surprised if I grimace. I really don't like that coriander. Alright, let's do it. Oh, goodness, that was weird. That was a very delayed spray. I almost missed the paper entirely and hit my thumb. Oh my gosh. Yeah, gosh, it stings. And it reminds me of if you were to have a cheaper cologne or a cologne and it has that really big opening alcohol. That's what it doesn't smell. It's not the alcohol, but it's that initial top note that just comes on so strong. The first time that I smelled this cologne, I was so disappointed. And by the time that I left the store, it was my favorite cologne of all time. So do give it time, but I do question that, because what do people sample when they're in a store? They sample the top note. They don't sit around and wait for it to mature. They don't sample the middles or the bases. So I think it's just me. I think that's a me problem. I'll take credit for that. Gosh, this is incredible. Oh my gosh. Listen here, everybody. Again, if you need me to be that guy that you go and you tell whoever it is in your life, you know what? I was gonna save. You were right, I was gonna save. But then I saw this guy on YouTube, and he told me, man, I'm not living until I get this cologne, so I had to have it. If you gotta do that, do it. Use me. I'll be the scapegoat. It's that good. When you first get it, it's boom in your face with citrus, like a lot of blue colognes are. Very strong on the citrus. The grapefruit and the lemon and the bergamot. The mint is a little bit of an after, and I think that the mint actually might be what contributes to the stinging of the nose a little bit. But I love the taste and the smell of mint, so I know that's not what grosses me out. But I think it could be a little bit of the sting. I don't know what aldehydes are, quite frankly. I couldn't pick it out for you, but the ginger and the nutmeg and the jasmine, they really come through, and you're also left with, it's a very subtle melon, but it is there. And again, you're talking about, let's see, there's 6, 10, 7, there's 17 notes, 17 listed notes here. So I don't really think it is, I don't want to say achievable, I would rather say advisable to sit here and try to pick out every single note. What you're left with is a incredibly well blended mixture of woodiness and fruitiness and just a hint of floral that comes together. And I think this is one of those you come across. Men, they love it, but women hate it. Or women, they love it, but men hate it. I think this is one of those where both of them, I think, could really appreciate it. Because it's not overly masculine. And quite frankly, it speaks for itself. The amber is definitely right there as well, because you're getting amber and amber wood, so it's hitting you pretty strong. And sandalwood and patchouli, I think, are just two staples in almost every base note. So, one of the complaints was that it smells somewhat similar to a lot of other colognes, and I disagree, but I can see where they're coming from, especially if they're talking about the sandalwood and the patchouli, because sandalwood and patchouli are in so many colognes, that I can understand that. But one of the only colognes that I've ever sampled that truly gets better and better and better as it sits, and the projection is pretty good, and the longevity of this. I have a tester strip in the other room that I sprayed 2 weeks ago, and I can still smell the Bleu de Chanel on it, and it's phenomenal. And it actually beat out all of my other colognes. So I highly recommend Bleu de Chanel. If there was a cologne out there that was affordable of Bleu de Chanel, let me know, because this is a signature scent. This is that scent. This is that scent that you wear every day. People smell it. They know you're coming. Now, be careful with that too. That's a bad thing too. If you get it because you're trying to impress a girl, and her ex-boyfriend had that scent because it's so popular, that's not what you're going for. So, anyways, if you're asleep, I hope you have a good rest of your sleep. I hope you wake up refreshed and ready to face the world. Stay classy. Be a gentleman. Be courteous. And if you're awake, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching this. Oh, it is magnetic. Ah, look at that. We gotta do a snapshot of that. Let's see. Oh, Sauvage-esque, yeah. Awesome, awesome. Love this scent. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for more videos. They're coming your way. Lineups, winter scents. Get some suits in here. Get some fabrics in here. We're going to have a good time. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, be well.